Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And look at that glorious sun. I feel like you're somebody who knows who they are, knows why they're here. Now, there was a time in your life where you didn't have much of a direction, or you didn't quite know where you wanted to go in life. I feel like you always had a lot of interests, but we never knew really which one to pursue. I think that you are someone who has been through a lot of I'm almost feeling like you've been through a lot of identities in your life. Does that make sense? Where I feel like we've tried on a lot of different types of lives to see which one really fit the best for us. I think you found it now. I think whatever you're doing now is going to bring you so much enlightenment, so much clarity, and success and wealth. This is a card of really the pinnacle of success. It is it's the zenith of success here. Okay. And I think that you're someone now with a lot of confidence. I think you're getting a lot of clarity in your path and, into the nature of who you are and, like I said, why you're here, what you're made of, and where you're going in life. We got to put this card into a little bit of context and see what's going on with this energy. This is a real confidence, but it's not an aggressive confidence. It is a very powerful, powerful card. Okay. And there's your Aries power card. Yes, indeed. There is the Emperor, and that card is associated with the sign of Aries. It is your super power card. Okay. We've got the Seven of Swords. Okay, makes sense. A Princess of Swords, sure. Kind of confirming what we just talked about. But there's that confidence, that strength, that Nine of Wands. And another Aries power card. That is the Knight of Wands, and that is the card that also is your superpower card and represents the Aries energy in action. It's kind of like, keep doing your thing. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't hesitate. Don't question it. Don't doubt it. Don't interrupt the flow by hesitating, questioning, doubting, second-guessing yourself. The horse and the rider must be one unit, right? Very good. Very powerful, powerful energy in this reading. And it wasn't always this way. That's the point of the air energy back here, is that there wasn't always this kind of confidence. Okay, you weren't necessarily born with it. Here we have a Six of Swords, a Queen of Swords, a Prince of Swords, more swords, and then finally the Star, which is very, very interesting because, well, for one, the sun is also a star. Okay, so we have that connection with Source, with the divine, with the spirit within you, and the spirit all around you, right? But we also have the air. This is an Aquarius energy. It's basically an air card, right? And air, 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 air. This is the air that we're sort of dealing with as the only sort of interruption to all that fire, you see. But at the end, we have the sort of purest, most divine air card of them all, the Star card, the Aquarius card, the major arcana, right? So I feel like all of your doubts are going to come to an end. The plan will be revealed to you. You're going to see the path forward. This is the card that tries to teach us who we are and why we're here. This is literally that card that illuminates us from within and shows us who we are, illuminates the path before us, shows us why we're here, right? And this card creates of us a very efficient, very, very skilled, very adept magician, okay? So at the end of all of this, Spirit is telling you, don't doubt yourself here. You're going to go through all this air energy, sure, but don't doubt yourself. This is a confirmation that you are, that you are grounded in this spiritual reality, and that the process of enlightenment is ongoing. So you will run into doubts again. There will be a time where this sort of tendency kind of creeps up on you, okay? Spirit is telling you to trust in your instinct, trust your intuition, trust your gut, keep going. Don't slow this process down by too much internal criticism, okay? This is a card that says, I don't really trust myself right now. Yeah. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. We'll tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of things. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Let's use this intuition. Okay? Let's do it as a group. Anyway, I think it'll be good for us. As we look around the room, we see very good major arcana energy. We see the Sun and Aries Emperor. We see the star. Okay? We got fire up top here, and this is what we're sort of going for. We're trying to have the confidence, because with confidence comes that surge of energy that's going to power this horse and rider team off into the future. And we're sort of battling that with the self-consciousness, the insecurities, the doubts, the second-guessing, the internal critic. We want this, but this is kind of, this is inside of us sometimes, okay? And this might be something that you really aren't feeling right now. Maybe you're not feeling insecure. Maybe you're not feeling like you're doubting yourself or you're being critical of yourself. But this card is here to say we all have this tendency to do that. And it will come out, it will come up, let's say, at some point. Okay? We have to be observant when this takes place. We need the clarity. We have to say, wait a minute, no, I'm doubting myself. I'm sabotaging myself. I'm interfering with the flow. I got to stop doing that to myself. Sometimes the words that we speak are magic. They truly are, okay? And if you think you can do it, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're right. So it's important that we realize that the things that we say to ourselves, in our head, out loud, in our journals, maybe to other people, even unconsciously in dreams, we have to be aware, we have to really observe, because those words are creating our reality, whether we know it or not, okay? We're all basically magicians already. Spirit just wants us to be the magician, but consciously, okay? So we've got that star, we've got that sun and that emperor, we've got the fire. We don't have any water at the moment, okay? We have air, 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 air. We don't have any earth cards. No water, no earth. So it's a very active time in your life, okay? I feel like right now your focus should be on relationships, the way that you're communicating and relating not only to yourself, but with the people around you. Are you looking toward your relationships with other people as like a competition or as like a negotiation where we're trying to, how can I engage with this person and get what I want out of it? Or is this other person engaging with me just to get something they want out of me? Like where do I need to establish boundaries and how do I need to focus on those relationships? I think you personally, because of the Queen of Swords, you want to understand people. In your relationships, now I'm kind of jumping around, but that's okay because it's my show. This card's in the position of your relationships. And this is the card of understanding. It's like we're trying to rise up above the emotions and we're trying to connect with people on a higher plane. Trying to connect with people beyond just like kind of what I want, what they want, and how we're just kind of interacting in that way, or how we might, the fleeting emotions that we have and how we might feel in any given time. We're trying to really understand people. What do they value? What do people really believe? And do I resonate with that? How can I understand people better? Can I ask more questions? They say people who are like these super communicators, which I'm thinking you might be turning into, they ask like, I don't know, something like about 50 times more questions than a normal person does in any conversation. I don't know, it seems like a lot. But just little things to try to understand a person and understand what they're all about and who they are and where they're going in life, right? So the star is sort of asking these questions of everyone. And you're asking, and not only that, but we have the Prince of Swords here too, which is a fixed air energy. 2 of these cards here are Aquarius cards. If I were you, I'd watch the Aquarius readings, or I would study a little bit about the sign of Aquarius, just for your own edification on some of this communication stuff. Because I feel like you're trying to find out like what people really care about. And and that's a way of you connecting with people on something that's shared. It's a shared value. It's a shared belief, right? And I think that's very important to you, or it's becoming more important to you. Because I feel like you have this inherent mistrust. And I think this is a very helpful thing. I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It's a 7 of Swords. It could be good or bad, right? But we don't just let everybody in to our living room and they can put their feet on the couch and stuff and it's fine, right? We're sort of protective. And we don't always, you're not gullible. You don't believe everything you see, hear, or read, or anything. Sometimes you don't believe everything you experience. I think right now you are developing the confidence to go forward with your life, go forward with your plans in life, trusting in yourself, and trying to understand other people better. Not trusting other people blindly, but just to understand them better so you can say, okay, well, I understand where that person's coming from, and you know what? I got to stay away from that person. Or you could say, yeah, I understand that person, and I feel like we have a connection here, and I feel like it's authentic. Yeah, I think we're going for authenticity right now. But the 7 of Swords is self-criticism. It is even the perception of other people, okay, that you might be sometimes prone to assuming other people are judging you poorly, okay? And I think right now you're trying to establish this fire, confidence, Emperor Aries type of energy that says, I really don't care, right? We're going to do a Language of Flowers affirmation card on the 7 of Swords. We have the insight. The answers are there for those who look. Exactly. That's what the star is showing us, right? Because the star, the way forward for you, the long-term goal for you is to continue with this process. Because the star asks us to open ourselves up so the light can come in. It's insight. It's seeing within, right? Insight, right? I don't know if that's literally it, but it makes sense. Looking inward. So that insight, looking into something, let's say, we're trying to look into other people, we're trying to look into ourselves. And the star, phase 1 of the star, we open up, the light comes in. The spiritual light, the universal energy, universal mind, God, goddess, deity, whatever it is, consciousness. It starts to show us what's going on inside, right? It shows us the answers inside of us, shows us where our blockages are, shows us where our knots of karma are, our sore spots, our weak spots, right? And once we start looking at those and paying attention, just the simple fact that we're shining a light on these things is taking away some of their power and it's starting to untangle things a little bit, right? Clear the blockage. Because then, the light phase 2, the light will start to spill out from us. And the light will shine on the rest of the world. And that does its own subset of things, right? 1, it gives us a yellow brick road for where we should go with our life and the things that we should pay attention to and kind of, how we're navigating our lives in a moment-to-moment way. Not like I can see the golden path up the hill, I know exactly what to do, and I can predict the future. But in a more short-term way, I know what turns to make. I can see the path lighting up in front of me, right? But this also shines a light on other people, that we're able to get a deeper insight into other people. Because we have done the inner work, or we are doing the inner work continuously. It never ends, right? That's allowing us to get a little bit more deeper or higher understanding of other people. Okay. also is allowing us to effectively shine our light on the rest of the world, like literally give our gift to the world and be our true selves, and be another star shining in the dome of heaven, right, illuminating the night sky, like someone who is a fully realized human being, doing their will, living their life. They know who they are, why they're here, and they're a gift to the world, right? And I think Spirit wants you to realize that you are indeed a gift to the world, and I think it's your turn. It's your turn to follow this clarity, follow your confidence. See, the Princess of Swords in the background position, you weren't always super confident. You may disagree with me, but the Princess of Swords is someone that is still kind of in defensive mode, trying to get the right sort of balance, almost to build momentum. This is somebody who's on their back foot. You see, somebody's always kind of defensive on their back foot, just trying to gain the right balance, the right center of gravity to move forward, you know. So there may have been a time in your life where we didn't really know, I don't know who I am. Like I can wear different masks, different costumes, but who am I really, you know? Who am I when I take off the persona, right? And this might be you exploring a lot of different subjects in school. Let's say this is somebody who's very curious, wants to major in everything at university, right? Has a hard time kind of picking something that is, you know, something that's going to captivate us for the long term, okay? And that may be a kind of, well, maybe a bit of a worry for you, that, you know, I could pick something that does captivate me, but how long until I'm sort of no longer captivated by it, right? So this might have been a time of a lot of kind of, I don't know, intellectual exploration. I think this was also a time where we maybe were a little bit too trusting of people, okay? And we assumed that everybody had the best of intentions, and we were, I don't want to say naive, but a Princess of Swords, that's one of the qualities, okay? And I think we all sort of start out life in that way a little bit. But I feel now, anyway, let's go present moment. Present moment, the sun is shining with this Emperor energy. I feel that there is a great confidence behind you. There's a great illumination that's sort of dawning in you. And it's giving you this, the authority here to be the captain of your own ship here. The Emperor is the one that is, it's a fortified ego, right? The Emperor is a strong, healthy ego. There is no need to eradicate the ego, root it out, destroy it, annihilate it. That's going to be a difficult thing to accomplish, and it's going to be difficult to deal with afterwards if we ever succeed in destroying the ego, right? But we need it to be healthy. We don't want it to be too dominant and aggressive. Well, that's usually covering up insecurity, right? We don't want it to be too weak or too diffuse, because then we're just letting everybody else's energy come in and say, oh, that's who I am now. You know, that we are literally just absorbing the persona or the personality of the person next to us. And that's who I am. So it's this kind of personality mirroring, but like to an extreme degree. The ego here is fortified, that you are illuminated from within, okay? And that light is shining forth from you with confidence, with a certainty about your path, knowing full well that my path can change at any moment. You know, part of the air energy here, this idea of, I don't know what path to take. Take the path that your spirit seems to be pushing you toward, knowing that you have the power and the authority to continue listening to that inner light, right? And change course as you need to. Maybe right now, yes, you should have full confidence, 1,000% confidence that this is the path forward for you. You're going to rush forward with this Knight of Wands, full speed ahead, not pausing to say, well, I don't know, am I sure? You're going for it with everything you've got. And if through this ongoing illuminating process, right, the enlightening, during that process, if you come to find out or realize or have the intuitive nudge that you're meant to recalibrate, change course, alter the plans a little bit, or make some adjustments, you can do that. You're the Emperor. You can do that with your life. you know. We're not binding ourselves to something that is so permanent that we cannot be flexible. And that's the thing about the Nine of Wands, is that this is the card of promises, right? This is the card of, I'm giving my word, my will, this is what I'm doing, 1000%, heck yes, there's no breaking my resolve. My word is my bond. And I think you're somebody that really takes promises seriously, right? That's why you're kind of hesitant to make any sometimes. But this card needs to also be flexible. See, the cards are flexible. This card is not such a rigid thing that even if something becomes completely wrong for us, that we're going to stick with it. I mean, you honor your path, but you also know that your path may lead you down different corridors, different alleyways. Okay? And sometimes your strength is put to the test. And maybe it's the strength to kind of do the difficult thing and readjust, change course a little bit sometimes, right? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you need that sort of confidence, which again, it is contrasted with the Seven of Swords. This is saying, I don't know what to do. This is the card of avoiding any kind of commitment because we're just not sure, right? There's the central sword in the middle, which would be clarity, commitment. I know absolutely beyond the shadow of a doubt that's my path. Oh, but there's all these other little doubts creeping in and kind of pointed at us this way. It's like we open up the door to our house. We're trying to walk outside and we're met with all these guards with spears saying, get back in there, right? And we just feel kind of like, I don't know what to do. I'm starting to feel a little bit powerless here. But the Emperor is going to forge ahead despite the doubts and say, I'm going to choose to put those doubts aside and go confidently forward with my life, knowing that if circumstances change, if I change, when I get more information, when the star illuminates me a little bit more and I start to work on those things again and the light, like that whole thing, that I can update my own algorithms, right? I can update my own programs, and I can make different choices. It's kind of like you're doing the GPS in the car, and of course, as new data is downloaded and it says, oh, there's construction on the 101. Well, then, okay, I'm not going to take the 101 today. I'm going to take some back roads through San Jose or something, right? There's always construction in California. I don't know what's going on there. They're always doing something. Thankfully, I'm not in California now. I still love the place, and I can't wait to go back to visit, but I'm rather happy that I don't live there at the moment. Anyway, what was I talking about? We were able to make those adjustments in real time. Okay, we're not going to be completely thrown from the horse because we're on the horse. Let's say now, when you're, I don't know if I don't ride horses, but I imagine that the horse and the rider have to really trust each other. And this is kind of like our higher mind and our instinct. This is our consciousness and spirit. This is our, whatever it is. There's this combination that of trust, that has mutual trust, that has to take place. And you're galloping through the forest on your horse, and then there's a down tree, there's a log. Well, what do we do if we start overthinking, we start hesitating, and the horse is going to start freaking out? We're going to start freaking out. Everyone's going to get hurt. Or we take it in stride. We leap over the darn thing. Or we have time to go to the side or whatever. There's a branch coming at your head. You don't just say, uh-oh, there's a tree, and you get smacked. No, you duck, right? We respond and react to things in real time, and we're able to keep the momentum going. And that's what you need right now. We don't need the overthinking or the hesitation. We need the commitment and the resolve and the willpower. The confidence that says, I can deal with whatever contingencies might happen on this path. And I can make all the adjustments that I need to almost without thinking. It's the same with driving a car, Sometimes you can't really think about your response. You have to trust in yourself to react appropriately. When somebody cuts you off, you don't think about it. Now, should I hit the brakes? Or why did they do that? Or what does this mean? No, you hit the brakes instinctively. You know what I mean? You can sometimes slam on those brakes. Sometimes you realize you gotta swerve into a different lane or something, right? But that brings us back to the Sun card a little bit, because in order to do something like that, you have to almost be paying attention to everything at once. And you have to have this illumination. Like, you'll have to always know where you are. So we need the clarity of the Sun card. That's sort of always aware of our surroundings, always aware of where we are in space and time at this moment. You know, and understanding, it's kind of like when you're driving a car. You want to know, they teach you this in driver's school or whatever. You have to always kind of be scanning. You have to always be just on the threshold of consciousness, aware of where your exits are, where the other cars are in relation to you. So if you had to swerve over to the left, you know there's no car there right now in this moment, and this moment, and this moment. It's not a conscious thing. It's just kind of an inner illumination. Okay? And I feel like this applies to your path right now, because we're trying to forge ahead despite the doubts, despite the uncertainty. We're trying to make the commitment and move forward with something. Okay? And you're being told to go ahead quickly. Okay? The next 2 weeks are going to be very crucial to you. And I think it's your turn to make some progress here. You've got to trust in yourself, and you've got to take the risk. You've got to leap into it. This is you jumping in. You're taking that leap. You're trusting in this momentum, really. Yeah. Okay, Path of the Serpent. 6 of Swords. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. The readings are totally free. The 6 of Swords is this idea of the plan. Okay, it's the divine plan. It's sort of like, this is you feeling like, okay, everything I do is part of the plan, even if I have to swerve out of the way or change course or duck underneath a tree branch. It's all part of the plan. So we're not allowing ourselves to really get stuck on any one of these little hiccups or roadblocks or obstacles or anything like that, right? Because we feel like, okay, that's all part of the plan. It's all part of this larger system. And if we can somehow fit everything in to the belief in the plan, then I think we're going to take away a lot of that insecurity for us. Somehow we can associate everything to this bigger picture. Okay? So it's kind of like, we're saying, okay, why was there a tree branch in the road and I had to leap over it? How was that part of the plan? We have to make the connections ourselves. We have to somehow fit it in, find a way to take that event and point it toward the goal and say, okay, well, it must have been there for a reason. Maybe it was saving me from a worse kind of fate. Maybe it's helping me to develop a skill that I'm going to need later on as well. We may not know at the beginning why something is happening. Well, that 7 of Swords, the Princess of Swords, they're asking the question, gosh, why did that happen? Why did I get the dead end and I had to turn down the detour? I don't understand why that happened. Well, that questioning is preventing us from just kind of taking everything in stride and going with the flow and keeping the momentum. I think the understanding may come later. Okay, but we have to, in real time, just assume like this is part of the quest. This is somehow this is necessary. We believe that Spirit put a dead end there for a reason. Maybe there's something worse on the other side. Maybe it's developing a skill, maybe it's a course correction or something like this. We just have to assume that everything is connected with our goal, even if it's difficult to do so. And maybe this is a self delusion, but isn't everything on some level? So we can do that. We can assume that there's a reason for this, and I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to take everything in stride. I think that really is the name of the game here with the Knight of Wands. We're taking everything in stride with this confidence that everything is part of the plan. And I think that this card is also talking about your relationships, because this is effective communication. This is like beautiful and harmonious interactions with other people. Okay. This, I think, is you really with the ability to understand yourself and your ability to understand other people. You understand your agenda. You understand other people's agenda. And so I think it's really a good time for you to make those connections Okay? I think that you are, and I think the mystery card is going to be some water, honestly. Because I feel like you are looking for the right kind of relationships in your life. You're trying to just understand people better generally. But I think we're doing that even in order to, I don't know, in order to kind of to have those relationships as part of our life. Okay, I think that you value healthy relationships. You value the right people in your life, and I think you want more of them, or you want to deepen the relationships with people. I don't know, but it feels right now you don't have a whole bunch of friends. Okay, maybe there's a few people that you're very, very close with, but I think that right now is a time in your life where you're starting to ask yourself that question. How many people am I really, truly friends with? Like, how many people do I really know deeply and who know me? Not just people I work with, people I associate with, people I talk to or whatever, do business with, or people I meet on the path, but who really knows me? And do I really know them? Okay, that's the Queen of Swords sort of asking those questions. Okay, and again, in this case, the Queen of Swords is trying to understand other people. And that's one reason why there's no water energy here, because we're trying to get away from just the feelings, our own perhaps feelings, and see beyond the emotions expressed by other people to really understand what they mean. Why is somebody acting the way they're acting? Why are they saying the words that they're saying? What does that reveal about their beliefs and values? Okay, not just how are my emotions reacting to their emotions? Because then now we're just arguing, now we're just fighting, now I'm kind of pissed off, or your feelings are hurt, and it's just, no. So you're trying to rise above the feelings and really understand like what they mean. You know, somebody's expressing themselves in a way that maybe you could take offense to. Maybe it's sort of it's triggering something, you know, anger in you or something like that. But you have this ability to look past that and think, why are they, like, where is that coming from? What is their behavior? What is it revealing about their true nature? What is it revealing about who they really are, what they care about, and what they believe in? Okay, and that's important for you right now. The fixed air energy is, in this case, it's kind of the difficulty. Okay, and to me, this feels like we're struggling with that, the rigidity of that promise, right? Where we're keeping to the oath, and we're struggling with the flexibility. Okay, and so it's not always easy. Well, one, it's not always easy to get past how we feel and try to see beyond that. Because when we feel an emotion, it's easy to identify with that. Okay, this is a double air energy. This is a fixed air energy. It's kind of saying like, we're sticking to the plan even when there's a lot of waves in the ocean. You know, the emotional waters are getting turbulent. We've got to stay fixed on our North Star. We've got to stay in the game. We've got to keep our head in the game. We've got to stick to the plan. We've got to stay focused. We don't want to sink into the turbulent waters and identify with them, because then we're interacting with other people just from that emotional place. And we don't want to sink into those waves and start doubting ourselves. So we're keeping our head above water here, so we can see the path when we're going to keep going. We're not going to sink into the pit of the self-doubt. I know this is air energy, but it's sort of, you know, I think it has a strong connection with the emotions. It is a 7. It is kind of this a Venus energy attached to all of the 7s of the tarot are associated with Venus. So in a way, this card's kind of saying, I don't really know what I want. We don't want to sink back into that. Right. So the difficulty is just remaining steadfast and remaining fixed, and in a way, keeping our word to ourselves, even when there are some variables, some things are happening outside of us, right? That may be challenging to us. Strength is really what we need right now. Okay. But these are both Aquarius energies. Okay, so the things that are revealing being revealed to us from the star energy, things that are going on inside of us, things that are being revealed about other people and about our path, etc. That whole thing. That's something that we need to continue doing, probably for the rest of our lives. We want to always be continuing to be more and more enlightened, right? We always want to be working on our clarity and on our vision to expand our kind of cosmic perception, right? It's not always easy in practice. We got that fixed air energy. It's not always easy to stick with it, and that kind of brings to mind the impulsiveness of the Knight of Wands. It's at first we're going to feel very motivated. At first we're going to be leaping into this. The mental discipline that is needed to continue on this path, that's going to be the struggle. Okay, this is you needing to keep going even after the initial excitement wears off, even when we're not being motivated by something directly at this time, right? It's a mental game of discipline. It's a mental game of keeping ourselves doing it even after all the good feelings and that initial adrenaline has worn off. My wife and I were just talking about this yesterday, about exercising and working out and stuff, and it's easy to do when we're staying motivated. It's easy to do when we're listening to all those podcasts, right, YouTube videos that just pump you up, right? And I feel pumped up. Let's go. Let's work out. But we can't sustain that forever. Eventually, it's going to be just the mental game, where we have to stay fixed and disciplined and concentrated mentally to stick with something. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card. I don't want this video to get too long. I know they've been getting a little bit longer again. Water, right? Probably water. But now I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking an Ace of Swords. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. An Ace of Pentacles. That's okay. I knew it was going to be an ace of something because I feel like this is the step. We don't have to think long-term future. We can think, what's the next step? We're being given the gift of an opportunity here. And I think that it really is your turn to manifest something significant in your life. You've got to take advantage of this energy right now. You have to trust yourself. You have to go, go, go. You have to jump into this. Okay? You're being shown, it's like you're being given the golden ticket and you're being shown the sort of yellow brick road and thinking, here's your chance. This is your opportunity to go and do something really, really, really wild and really significant and meaningful, something marvelous. Okay? The doubt, all that kind of stuff, yeah, it's going to be there. But this is your chance to do something big. Okay? I feel like you're going to take it, and I want to hear all about it. We're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an oracle, some oracle cards and an I Ching reading. Okay? There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Aries, usually on Mondays and Fridays. I feel like you needed some kind of a green light or something right now, or the motivation to just keep going. Okay? Keep going. Ride this wave. Use this momentum. Yeah. Don't hesitate. If you want to watch the extended readings on the website, go to doveandserpenttarot.com. You can also join the Patreon. And go check out my wife's channel. She does tea leaf readings over at Ula Tea Leaf Readings. All right. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. The readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.